Hello Vlogmas people, welcome to day 18 of Vlogmas. I think my hair is a little bit wackadoo this morning, so apologies for that. I put it up when it was wet and it's done some kind of weird business anyway. I'll sort that out at some point. I wanted to give you an update on my knitting because that's what I've been working on a little bit this morning. I've been working on that German short row heel, and from what I gather from looking at it, I think I have done it right because it's sort of shaping around a bit, which I think is what it's supposed to do. So I'm nearly finished with the first portion, which is basically the underside of the heel, and then I'm going to build up the back part of the foot apparently. We'll see how it goes. I have a feeling there are some bits that I maybe looped some yarn around when I wasn't supposed to. I'm hoping I can basically make it a functional sock, which is all I really care about. This is kind of my test knit. I didn't go for the yarn that I was kind of most hoping to use for this pattern. This is my extra spare yarn, so I'm hoping. I mean, I feel like that's looking like that's the top of the sock, and that's going to be the heel. It looks long though. Hopefully it's not going to be like a clown sock. We'll see how it goes, but anyway. Hopefully it should work out. I do want to do some sewing today, but I didn't really have the energy to lug all of my sewing stuff into the kitchen because it's still a bit early to sew in my sewing room. And I know I'm going to have some time to sew later. My husband's brothers are coming over to hang out for a while, and I will definitely hang out with them, but they are going to want to make a lot of noise and play guitars, which is what they do when they hang out together. And as much fun as that is, I only need so much of it. So usually when they're here, after a while, I'll go and do a bit of sewing or something to keep myself busy. So I will be doing sewing later, but let's get on this morning and do my advent calendars. Kylie and the machine first. Day 18. Aww. Sweet. It's a sweet one. So 3 of these ones. Hope it can stay up straight while I'm trying to show you. Proud as Punch. Definitely some kind of, I would call like a sherbety kind of colors. Orangey, yellowy, pink. That's a sweet one. I do think that we should really not worry about seeming too full of ourselves or anything like that. I think it's really important to be proud of your achievements. I am someone who was brought up to be proud of my achievements. I know it's not always in all families and all cultures, but if I do something that I think is really good, I do feel really good and I do feel really proud of myself. And I think all of us should, and getting to stick that on something I've made just makes me happy. And it will bring me joy when I look at it. That's the nice thing about it. You know, it will remind you of how proud you are. I think that's a good one to say for something that was a little bit more challenging for whatever reason, and just have that little reminder that you worked through something. All right, it's yarn time then. Okay, 18 over here. Ooh, this one is yummy. We got some all kinds of aqua. So we've got more of a bluey shade. And then up here it's a bit lighter, slightly more green, I think, in there. And the nice white going through. Ah, gorgeous, gorgeous shades. Really like that. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit more done of this sock. I may or may not, but it's gonna be breakfast soon because it won't be too much longer till my husband's up and we're gonna get the day started. I will check in with you as I go. Like I said, I am expecting to get some sewing done today. But the last time I said I was having a sewing day, everything went completely pear-shaped. So let's just take it as it comes. I'll get done what I get done and see how I do. But I'll check in a bit. I've gone to grab a sewing snack and I thought I would show you. Anyone who likes sour candy in the UK, if you do not know, Sainsbury's Fizzy Fangs. They are quietly the best sour candy in the UK, in my own humble opinion. But these are really good. They are just some kind of fruity flavor. I don't know what they are. They look like little, like fangs. as the name suggests, they are yum. My favorite sewing snack, probably. So I've just been here pulling out my gathering stitches, watching Vlogmas videos. I was watching Rachel's week 3 from Rachel is French Seams on YouTube and on Instagram. I'll put a link to her channel down below. But she was doing her Kylie and the Machine advent calendar, and she mentioned that she'd seen a detail on the back of one of them that she didn't realize was there because people on Instagram were sharing it. And I totally missed it too, and it's really cute. This is my bowl, by the way, of all of my recent new acquisitions from Kylie and the Machine advent calendar, but it is one of the labels. It's this one, this candy heart, love hearts, conversation hearts, that says made with love. On the back, when you look upside down, it says don't look too closely. Hopefully you can see that. That's so fun. I really love that detail so much, and I totally missed it. Thank you very much, Rachel, for giving me the heads up after you got the heads up. And word to anyone else who got these, don't miss that fun detail. So I'm just gonna do the buttons, hand sew the buttons on the front, and I am actually gonna hand stitch this hem. If you've been following me for a while, you might know that I am not a big fan of hemming. I find hemming to be the most kind of painful, tedious thing to do. After you finished a project and you're so close and you're really excited, and you have to hem it, and I just feel like I just run out of steam. So I have found that if I actually force myself to really slow down and hand sew it, not only does it have a neater finish, and I hand stitched the cuffs in place so I feel like it will tie it all together really nicely. It looks really nice and neat from the outside and neat from the inside, but also it forces me to really dive into the slow sewing thing, which I think is really good. I sew because I like the process. I like the finished product, but I really get a lot out of the process of sewing. So when I hand stitch, I give myself more time doing that, and I feel like that's good for me. So I make myself do that from time to time. I never regret it. Hand hemming, I actually prefer to machine hemming these days, probably more often than not anyway. So I'm gonna plan to do those bits. I will try it on just to make sure I'm happy with the hem length, but I'm so close. Alright, so dress update for today. I have managed to attach the skirt sections together so everything's all stitched in place and finished. I have sewn the buttons onto the bodice, and I have gotten probably about a quarter of the way through hand stitching the hem. It's one of those things that I always love the look of it, can't always go to the bother. That's on the outside, so you can just about see, I think, some of those stitches, but definitely not very much visible. And the inside obviously is nice and neat. Nothing much to see there. So I am going to finish stitching this up tonight, hand stitching while I hang out with my husband. We are probably going to have a movie night tonight. But what I'm not sure, or what I am going to have to do, that would theoretically be the dress finished, but it's not finished. I tried it on to check the length of it, and I think the length is good. It's actually longer than I thought it was going to be. This is sometimes what happens when you're sewing. So the first tier is longer than I expected, and the second tier then is a bit overall longer than I thought. But I actually really like the look of it. It's a kind of a midi length, whereas I thought it was going to be a bit just below the knee. But I actually like where it sits. I think it makes more sense for this time of year, this dress. But yeah, the difficulty I had was I got it on, struggled a little bit to get it on over my shoulders, and really struggled to get it off. Now, if you remember, I mentioned that I wasn't going to put in my buttonholes because I was just going to stitch the buttons on, hoping that I could pull it on and off without needing to do it. But actually, even if there were buttonholes, it's specifically where the waist is that I didn't mention to you guys. I wanted to make sure that it was shaped in enough at the waist. So I just took a little bit off of each waist seam while I was stitching this together, which was a fatal error. I really shouldn't have done that. It needed to be looser for me to be able to get it on and off. And basically it's just that little bit too tight where it was a serious struggle to get off. I had a moment where I was slightly panicked. Am I going to be able to get this off? And I had to take a few deep breaths. I don't know if any of you guys are like this out there, but if I have something that I'm trying to get off that is too tight and I'm struggling to get it off, I get almost like panicky, like claustrophobic kind of feeling, which is horrible. And I've had that when I've been in shops like years ago, younger, when I was a teenager, trying on clothes. If I'm struggling to get it off over my head, I get really, really freaked out and panicked. But total sidebar there. But basically this needs something to get it to fit better and to be able to get on and off rather. So I'm actually gonna install a zipper, an invisible zipper in one of the side seams. So that will be the final thing that I'm gonna do. But I will finish the hem tonight, like I said. The side seam zipper I will get at some point when I can, but I will say I'm loving how it's looking. I'm so excited when I put it on. Got a few little things to do. I don't want to show it to you until it's completely finished, but I think it's going to be really wonderful to wear on Christmas. So I'm very excited because it's the first time I really put it on since it was a proper dress. So that's really cool. So I didn't get a powerful amount of sewing done, but I'm happy with what I've done, and I am going to be finishing up the hem of that skirt. I didn't have as much sewing time as I was expecting because I wanted to spend a little bit more time with my brothers-in-law while they were here because we don't see each other that often. But hopefully we will be seeing each other in a week at Christmas anyway. But we are going to be now, my husband and I are going to be watching a movie. We're going to watch an old Mystery Science Theater 3000 because you can't go wrong with those. And I will see you all tomorrow. See you then. Bye-bye. I need to show you guys, hope you can see, the wick is really not in the center of this candle. It's becoming more obvious as it's burning down. So I'm not sure how we're gonna get on with the rest of this month, but I'll do what I can. Alright guys, I wanted to just show you where we're at with this. I've been burning this candle for some time. It is melting more and more of the back, so you can see that it's getting a lot shorter at the back, and the front is a lot thicker because it's so much further from the wick. The flame is just not melting it at all. So my numbers are not going down, so the 18 is not going down. It's not even close, and the back is just dripping onto the stand that I've got it on. It's probably a little bit tricky to get with the lighting. Hopefully you can see there. It's kind of all pooled there. Basically, I'm just gonna have to call it with this candle. I know that a lot of you have been watching and it's been fun to get to burn one day throughout my little Advent countdown or my Christmas countdown on Vlogmas, but unfortunately we got a crooked wick and that is about that. There's no real way to get it to work, so sorry guys. Say goodbye to our lovely Advent calendar. I'll blow it out one last time, but we still got that 18 shining bright.